To the authorities in Boston, the Suffolk County District Attorney, the Boston Police, and the Licensing Board, thank you to them as well. I'm sure a lot of you know that a few weeks ago, the license to operate of Sons of Boston was suspended indefinitely. And while we applaud the board for their decision and for the way they moved, we still have a lot of questions. And that's why we're announcing today that by the end of this week, the civil lawsuit, the wrongful death lawsuit against Sons of Boston, will be filed in Suffolk Superior Court. The attorneys in Chicago have moved quickly. They've set up the estate, which will allow us to file the lawsuit. That's now done. So we now have the authority to file the lawsuit, and we'll be doing that this week. We've gotten some answers through the licensing board, but the family will not rest until all of their questions are answered, and that's why we're filing the lawsuit this week. So with that, we'll open it up and take questions.
When you say you've gotten some answers to the licensing board, what questions did they answer on your mind?
Yeah, the video of that hearing is publicly available through the City of Boston's website, and they asked a lot of questions about staffing and training and things like that. I'd encourage anybody to go on and take a look at that video.
They also mentioned in that hearing that it looked like staff members at the bar allowed the bouncer to come back in, helped him change clothes, helped him go out the back way. How was your reaction to that?
Well, we heard that allegation too. And we're certainly troubled by the allegation, by what the licensing board had to say, and that's part of why we're filing the lawsuit now.
And any members of the family talk a little bit about being in court again today? I know some of them were here today, last time as well, in the initial round, of what it was like to be in the courtroom. I watched this suspect quite closely during the entire proceedings. It looks like you never took your eyes off him.
No, just step up to the mic.
No.
It was a moment I've waited for a long time. I needed to see the person that took my son's life, a 23-year-old Marine who had the whole world in front of him, his whole life ahead of him. I needed him to feel the sorrow and the heartbreak that I feel, that my family feels. I needed him to feel the weight of my tears that have cried. My heart is broken. He needed to see it, and I know he felt it. If you were in that courtroom, you felt it too. I couldn't take my eyes off of him because I needed him to see the person that he destroyed, the person that he killed along with my son. He killed a part of my heart when he did that. So that's why I never took my eyes off of him. And we're confident that the court system will do what they need to do. And thank you very much for keeping the story in the news to keep my son's memory alive.
Can I ask you, speak Spanish?
Yes.
I work with Telemundo. Can I get your answer on español, please?
Yes. Sentía yo mucha tristeza, sentía yo mucho dolor en ver la persona que le quitó la vida a mi hijo. Yo necesitaba que él sintiera mi angustia y mi dolor de mi corazón de madre, porque yo soy una madre como todas otras madres que queremos a nuestros hijos. Yo necesitaba que él sintiera todo mi dolor de lo que él ha hecho, no nada más a mi familia, pero a su familia también.
Do you plan on being here for every court? Obviously, I know you guys had to commute out here. What's the plan going forward?
I will be here at every hearing. Even if it's just for a continuance, I will be here every single time. I am here to represent, I'm the voice of my son. So I will be here every time.
It's not just you, there's a large group. Is it
yes,
friends,
my family, my whole family. I want to thank them. They have been my rock. And not just my family, friends, and the whole community, Boston, Chicago, across the country. I want to thank everybody who has supported our family through this tragedy. Yo voy a estar en todo, cada vez que tenga corte, yo voy a estar aquí. No me importa aquí si fue, yo voy a estar en cada una de las cortes.
Well, either a question for you or for Thomas. You mentioned you've gotten some answers. What are some of the answers that you're still waiting to find out?
I'll take that. We haven't seen any documents. We haven't seen any video, and that's understandable. The district attorney's not going to turn that over at some point. At this point, we don't expect them to, but we want to see those things down the road to see everything that happened on that day.
Even while the criminal case is being adjudicated, or do you need a decision in that?
No, there's nothing that prevents the lawsuit from being filed while the criminal case is pending, and we think it's important to have the lawsuit filed now because we're sure that the bar is talking to lawyers and preparing a defense, and we need to prepare our case.
Yeah, moving forward, everything. How are you guys doing right now? Just with everything. I know this is probably kind of overwhelming for you, but a lot of eyes are on your family and what happens. Just want to know how you're doing.
We're doing as best as we can. We are trying to stay strong. I've had a lot of outreach from other mothers that have lost their children to violence, and they have been very supportive. They've been there for me, sharing their stories, giving me their advice on how to go forward without a member of your family, a piece of your heart. So they've helped me, and we're trying to focus more on my son's legacy. We're starting a foundation for my son. It's called the Daniel Martinez Memorial Foundation. It's in the works. It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love, and that's what we're trying to focus on.
And you guys are wearing some pins representing
Yes.
today. Can you just describe what you guys are wearing?
Yes,
and everything?
as you know, my son's a Marine, and it just to represent that he is not only a 23-year-old young man, but he's a United States Marine who served his country. He sacrificed for our country, and we want to make sure that we represent his fellow Marines and the United States Marine Corps to know that the sacrifice that they've made is not in vain. And we want to make sure that people don't forget the sacrifices that our military make for us. So that's why we wear the buttons.
Talk about the foundation and then
I'm not real good at my Spanish in that is not the best. Yes. Yes. Estamos tratando de hacer una fundación para ayudar a otras madres que han perdido también sus hijos en esa manera. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming out here in the cold. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay? Thank you.